Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Thursday, the 1st of Zulhijjah 1446, 29th of May 2025. You people must have heard our Hazrat Wala is saying the name of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb. He used to abundantly read from this kitab, the maktubat, the letters of Khaja Muhammad Masoom. That time it was in Farsi. It's so late already, but we'll just read a bit. So here, Hazrat Khaja Muhammad Masoom is saying that वसूल फैज़ और बरक़ात तरीक़ रिआयत आदाब के बग़ैर मुयस्सर नहीं. That for that fuyuz to come to you and for the blessings of this path and tariq that you are walking, it is necessary for you to adopt the adab. And a person who does not adopt the adab without adopting the proper etiquettes and prerequisites, then it will not be easy for you to get the barakat of the tariq. Koi be'adab khuda tak nahi pahuncha hai. A disrespectful person never ever reached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Adam riayat e adab mein darar ka palla ghalib rehta hai. Now, when you do not take into consideration the etiquettes, then the pen of harm always is weightier, or nafa mawqoof ho jata hai, and benefit is actually suspended at that time. So here Hazrat Khaja Muhammad Masoom is saying so beautifully that a person who is not considerate of the etiquettes and the prerequisites then he will be deprived of the barakat of this path. The disrespectful person never ever reaches Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and without taking into consideration the etiquettes, then the pan of the scale of harm always remains overwhelming, and it's always weightier, and benefit then becomes suspended. Hazrat Tanvi used to say that ayete jaise aaye aise gaye. They came, they stayed, but how they came, they just went like that. Now that actually happens when a person stays without adab, respect, etiquettes, etc. If a person just goes once to a buzruk, but with the proper etiquettes, etc., that person will never ever be deprived. Continuing, दूसरी बात ये लिखनी है, and the second thing that I want to write actually and tell you is that तुम ज़ब्त औक़ात में कोशिश करो. You make a concerted effort to look after your time. और अहम उमूर में वक्त सर्फ किया करो and spend your time in important tasks. ऐसा ना हो कि वक्त यूं ही खर्च हो जाए. And it should not be like this, that time, you just pass your time like that. How? Just like that. कथरत इख्तिलात मर्दुम से भी बचते रहो, and also stay away from abundantly mixing with people, because बेज़रूरत ज़्यादा मेल जोल निस्बत बातिन की रौनक बर्बाद करता है. Without any need, mixing with people actually destroys and it kills the beauty of that connection, that nisbat that a person has internally. So बेनीयत सालिहा मखलूक से ज़्यादा मिलना जुलना खालिक से इनकिता का सबब बन जाता है. Without any good intention, just like that, to mix with people, etc., actually becomes the reason for distancing yourself and cutting yourself off from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One Buzurg has mentioned that Badu ki sohbat se parhez karo, stay away from the companionship of the undeserving, of the ignorant, of the evil, of the wicked. और नेकों की सोहबत में और नेकों की सोहबत भी इतनी रखो कि हक अज़्ज़ व जल्ल से इनकिता न होने पाए. And also, good companionship must also be kept to that limit that it doesn't cut you off from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the zabt awqat and looking after one's time, this was found much by Hazrat Tanvi. And if a person doesn't look after his time, that किस वक्त क्या काम करना है, that at a certain time what work needs to be done, then actually nothing is achieved. किसी वक्त, इसी वक्त मलफूजात लिखना है. That listen, I can't see to you now, at this point in time I'm writing the malfuzat. Now so long as a person does not look after his time, कोई काम नहीं होता है. He is unable to achieve any work. आजकल बैठे रहते हैं. Today we just sit like that. No work at all. We are not also just saying this, that every single moment must be spent in wazaif. No, we're not saying that. However, laghu, layani, that you should definitely stay away from. Useless, futile things. It's got no benefit whatsoever. Stay away from that. Then Hazrat Wala, referring to the sher, says, Hum logo ko rataya gaya. We were made to learn this. We were made to learn this. What was that they were made to learn? Listen to the essence of it. Kamyabi to kam se hogi. That if you want success, you have to do something. You have to do work. You have to look after your time. Na ke husne kalam se hogi. Not sitting around and chat talk, sweet talks. No. Zikr ke iltizam se hogi. You have to be punctual with your azkar. Fikr ke ihtimam se hogi. You have to have fikr for your islah. You know, when we were in Koparganj, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb used to stay on top. And we used to stay at the bottom. Everyone was there. Jami Saheb was there. Maulana Abdul Halim Saheb was there. And one night, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb came out. It was about 12 midnight or 1 a.m. And he seen us talking like that. He was terribly upset. And he mentioned that once a week, you people must write to me about your halat, your spiritual state. That was enough for us. You know, he just had to tell us that all our time then was occupied after that. And truly, in the true sense, we absolutely became busy. In fact, the first step in this path is that a person stays away from layani, useless, futile things. Allah Ta'ala hum sab ko tawfiq de. Allah give us all the tawfiq. Har cheez ka badal. There is an exchange. There is a substitute for everything other than that of time. So much so, even if a person misses out some roza, siyam in the month of Ramadan, he will be able to make the qaza of it. He'll make the qaza. That burden, that load that was on his shoulders will also be taken away. His faraz in the court of Allah will be complete. However, he will not get the barakat of that time of Ramadan ever. Even though he has completed the qaza, the barakat of that time will never ever be able to come back to him. So, you know, these talks are so wonderful. These maktubat are amazing. Asal Kam, the original work was done by Hazrat Mujaddid Al-Fithani, and thereafter Hazrat Khaja Muhammad Masoom took that, opened it up, explained it, and spread it throughout. People sit like this and like that. They're in Bombay. They're at the docks and at the shores. To what hour in the morning? So everything, there's a qaza for it, but there's no qaza for time. Min husni islamil mar'i tarkuhu ma la yani. It's an open hadith, sarih and sahih hadith. It is most correct that the beauty of the Islam of an individual is that he stays away from useless things. There was a muhaddith and there was a buzruk. Someone asked the buzruk, Hazrath, you went to this muhaddith majlis and you sat there? He says, yeah, for some long time I didn't go. And actually the reason for this is, I've been there on one occasion. I heard one hadith from him. But truly speaking, I was unable to practice on this completely, due to which I didn't have the courage to go back again. I'm still trying to come on this completely. Min husni islamil mar'i tarkuhu ma la yani. This is the hadith that I heard from him. The beauty of the Islam of an individual lies in him staying away from that which is useless and futile. औकात को ज़ाय करने की आम आदत हो गई. This has become a common habit that we spend, that we destroy our time. This has become a common habit that we destroy our time. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of making amal on the talimat of the Buzurgan-e-Deen, which in actual fact is a translation of the teachings of Quran and Hadith. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.